That wraps up Channel 7 News at 5:30.
Sally and Rick coming up next with Channel 7 News at 6, and here's a look at what's ahead.
Will Miami's homeless finally get a home? Tonight, city leaders plan to pack up the homeless and send them to a stadium, but it's a plan that may not wash.
You're going to see a lot of rebellion. You may see some serious rebellion off of this.
The very latest next on Channel 7 News at 6.
You're watching South Florida's news station, WSVN 7. Pitts, Sanchez, Daniels, Lovett. This is Channel 7 News at 6.
The homeless, well, they're everywhere, begging for help. Now the city of Miami is offering help. Question is, do the homeless want it? Hello again, everybody. This is a plan to get the city's homeless, well, off the streets.
They live under Miami's highways, in cardboard boxes, in shanty towns, in tents. They beg for food, for money, for help. Finally, after years of debate, the city has come up with a plan to help Miami's homeless. But as Channel 7's Derek Hayward reports, not all the homeless will accept that help.
But I think it's the saddest thing. I always send money to the Camilla's house to see if they can at least get some food.
I really feel sorry for them. I wish somebody, could provide for them and, help these people out.
Today, Shelley Bulnes reacted with joy when she heard that someone is finally about to help these people out. That she and the others may finally not need burning garbage to keep the mosquitoes away, or ramshackle grills to cook on, or buckets of water to wash with. In 1988, homeless Nicaraguan refugees were housed in Bobby Maduro Stadium. Now the city plans to do the same for hundreds of those living under your freeways. Right now, if the court, considering a lawsuit on the part of the homeless, agrees, together with the ACLU, City Commission, the county, and various agencies, the stadium would be used for 30 days while social agencies search for permanent homes and jobs.
So coordinating all of this, having a 30-day facility, and then the permanent solution is going to take a lot of effort, and you're going to see a lot more news in the next week or two.
I'm happy. I think they're finally doing something, trying to help us.
But not everyone is happy about the prospect of somewhere to live. Why would some people living out here not be excited about this plan, not be happy to see this plan come to pass?
Okay, well, a lot of people don't understand that it's more to it than you just get out the street and they give you a place to stay. They want you to clean your life up.
That means drug tests. And to those addicted to drugs, it means they won't make it into the program. They'll be back out here struggling to get by, and this time the police plan to arrest those who return to the streets.
70% of the people out here have drug problems. So you figure. But every time they're going to start arresting us, putting us in and out of jail, they need to come up with some way to handle that part of the problem.
Although drug treatment is part of the plan, officials admit it's the toughest part, and that many addicts will fall through the cracks and return to your streets to live under your freeways. In downtown Miami, Derek Hayward, Channel 7 News.
Now, the Miami City Commission is expected to approve this plan for the homeless at its next meeting on July 11th. Then the very next day, the judge handling the current court battle has to give his approval as well.
For days, we've been warning you about the dangers of fireworks. Now, on the eve of Independence Day, a little boy has learned the hard way. A 5-year-old was burned when his buddy threw a firecracker at him. You can see he's got a patch over his burn already, but he's lucky. Doctors say he's going to be okay. No word on how the kids got the explosives or if it was the illegal type. Huge stash of illegal fireworks landing in Fort Lauderdale. Man in jail tonight. Police say they stopped this 21-year-old, his name Eric Paulson, for allegedly picking up a prostitute. But when they look in the back of his truck, they found a half-ton of illegal fireworks. Now, the cops say that Paulson was hoping to sell the fireworks. He could face thousands of misdemeanor counts, one for each firework in his truck.
A former policeman turned mailman is now a jailbird. He's charged with trying to rob an elderly woman of her life's savings. George Laws was arrested by Fort Lauderdale police. The former Sunrise cop is charged with grand theft and exploitation of the elderly. The cops say Laws befriended a 90-year-old woman on his mail route and somehow got power of attorney over her $300,000 in savings. He allegedly withdrew $4,000 before the cops moved in and froze the assets. It was the answer to a cry for help. Two-bit thieves and druggies were taking over their neighborhoods. So today, a small army of heavily armed federal agents moved in. Channel 7's Rick Chambers was there for Operation Rock Bottom.
Loosen this one up a lot. Take a little bit of pressure.
Federal agents gear up for a pre-dawn sweep through Homestead, Cutler Ridge, and Florida City.
As small as Florida City is, it had an enormous amount of drug traffic going through it. Since we're the last largest city on the mainland, I had to ask and received all this assistance.
It turns out the help was just a phone call away. Some 200 federal and local cops took part in Operation Rock Bottom, a sting targeting the sellers of drugs and stolen property.
This kind of operation brings up like the cream of the crud, so to speak, the repeat offenders, people out there that are constantly, for a living, stealing.
This time, though, that cream of the crud sold their goods to federal agents posing as bad guys. This is where it all began, warehouse number 53 in a small industrial complex down in Florida City. Federal agents set up a storefront fencing operation in this place, and they took in everything from machine guns to washing machines. And the undercover cops paid bottom dollar for the merchandise.
The storefront was basically designed to purchase illegal goods from the people that were out there selling them, not to put them into business, but the ones that have already been identified as burglars, thieves, narcotics dealers.
Armed with 125 arrest warrants, police made their move at sunrise. Some of the suspects took the raid in stride. Others, though, were not as cooperative. Despite this show of manpower, the number of suspects in handcuffs would be somewhat disappointing. Less than 3 dozen had been nabbed by midday. Nevertheless, the feds are already hinting at a repeat visit in the coming months. In South Dade, Rick Chambers, Channel 7 News.
Now, federal agents say they plan to seize a couple of homes before this is all over. The value of the stuff recovered so far, more than $300,000.
Parking frustrations nearly sparked a free-for-all outside a Hialeah food stamp office today. It was more of a shouting match than anything else, but almost a dozen police officers showed up to get the crowd under control. Trouble started over a lack of parking spaces. The food stamp office serves nearly 300 people a day, but many say they can't ever find a place to park. HRS officials say it is looking to somehow relieve this problem. Tonight, we're learning more about the man who killed himself yesterday in a SWAT team standoff outside of Disney World. 25-year-old Michael Kravitz shot himself in a hotel room after he'd run from federal agents who tried to arrest him for credit card fraud. Turns out Kravitz was from South Florida. Tonight, Hollywood police say he'd left angry creditors behind all over the country, not just here, passing bad checks to dozens of people and banks in South Florida. Kravitz was once featured in a new Miami magazine as a hotshot businessman. But police say he avoided prosecution for years because his parents kept paying off his debts.
Whenever you pay someone money that you owe, it pretty much quiets them down a little bit. So they didn't press any charges against him, and so he had no criminal past.
Again tonight, Kravitz is dead, and all those cases against him, they are being shut.
Checking world headlines tonight, Yugoslavia fears that Baltic nation may be on the brink of civil war. There are no reports of widespread fighting in the breakaway republics of Slovenia and Croatia today, but a huge line of soldiers and equipment is reportedly moving into the area. U.S. Secretary of State James Baker says that could mean a civil war is on the way. Missouri, dozens hurt after a riot broke out at a heavy metal rock concert last night. Police say it started when Axl Rose, the lead singer of Guns N' Roses, jumped off the stage and into the crowd. Witnesses say he was going after a fan who was taking his picture. The crowd went crazy. When the rest of the band walked off stage, 16 people were arrested and charges may be filed against Axl Rose. Washington, word that another member of the Bush administration has been using government planes at taxpayers' expense. CBS News says Transportation Secretary Samuel Skinner flew FAA planes to help keep his pilot's license up to date. The cost, a reported $40,000.
Closer to home, getting ready in case the William Kennedy Smith rape trial ends up having to be moved to somewhere else. Smith's trial is scheduled to start the first week of August. Tonight, word that judges in Tampa, Orlando, and Jacksonville have all already been asked if they could handle the trial if indeed it ends up being moved. A judge slated to hear the case says she wants to try picking a jury in Palm Beach, but Smith's attorneys say there is no way they're going to be able to find an impartial jury.
A happy ending tonight. In the search for a missing model, 26-year-old Ashley Montana was the cover girl on Sports Illustrated's swimsuit issue this year. A couple of days ago, her mother reported her missing, and a search began right here in South Florida and also in New York. But today, Ashley and her husband arrived on shore in Miami on a sailboat.
I told my mother I was going to be back Sunday, and at the last minute, I found out I wasn't going to be working Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I thought, let's just make a really nice holiday out of this. And I was never in a port that I could call from. You know.
Well, police in Miami and in New York have been looking for Ashley since Sunday.
That's why Mom always used to tell me to take a dime. When we come back, South Florida company suspected of helping Saddam Hussein build his deadly war machine.
A warning tonight about the dangers of over-celebrating this 4th of July.
And President Bush helped some former presidents celebrate their birthdays. We're going to be taking you live to Mount Rushmore for that story.
And throughout this hour, we're going to be showing you where you can see South Florida's biggest fireworks displays tomorrow night. Stay with us.
My daughter Wendy said to me, Dad, I think you've got to come up with some new kind of foods. Be different. Get on the cutting edge. She may be right. So I had an idea for a special chicken sandwich.
Introducing Wendy's Chicken Cordon Bleu, a boneless breast of chicken, ham, Swiss cheese, Grey Poupon, and mayonnaise on a toasted Kaiser bun.
That looks delicious.
Hey, Dad, where are you?
In the kitchen, on the cutting edge.
Try the new Chicken Cordon Bleu sandwich at Wendy's for a limited time.
Give me a break, will you? I just want to pack a...
Harrison Ford is Henry Turner.
Do you remember your wife?
He's starting from scratch here. This is his journey.
Big loop, little loop.
How did you learn to do that?
You taught me.
His struggle.
I don't remember what I was like.
We were in love once, and then we weren't.
His triumph.
I want us to be a family. I love you.
Regarding Henry, rated PG-13. Special sneak preview Saturday, July 6th at select theaters.
Dear Mom and Dad, great news.
Tommy's coming home. Oh, Jack, Tommy's coming home.
I can't tell you how much I miss you both, and how much I'm looking forward to a good home-cooked meal. See you soon. Love, Tommy.
What a wonderful day.
Oh, P.S. Mom, I sure hope you're gonna make me one of your great pies.
Home sweet home. From Dixie Crystal Sugar.
You sound terrible.
About time you noticed. I feel sluggish. If I inject this, they're all clogged.
I give you a detergent gas.
Just give me the good stuff.
Listen to your engine. Amoco Ultimate cleans clogged fuel injectors in one tankful.
You give me quality, I give you performance.
Amoco Ultimate, your car knows. Now you do too.
Oh, by the way,
I know. Take one tankful and
call me in the morning.
Tonight, we are indeed learning more about the possible South Florida connection with Saddam Hussein. Factory in Boca Raton may have supplied Iraq with cyanide used to make chemical weapons, even though the U.S. government had been tipped off. Senior reporter Mark Ludner with this story.
When you think Boca Raton, you think pink.
and green. You think elegant pink buildings and plenty of green cash. When you think Boca Raton, you don't think chemical weapons. But this factory in Boca reportedly shipped cyanide to Saddam Hussein's Iraq for use in making such weapons. Here's where U.S. Customs sealed up the place a few months ago.
It's quite a shock to us. We knew the materials were dangerous, but we had no idea that that was one of their possible end uses.
Boca Fire Captain Tom Wood says he knew the plant, which produced cherry flavoring for soft drinks and other uses, also produced cyanide as a natural byproduct. Fire officials wanted to be sure the cyanide was handled safely because certain cyanide compounds, after just a few breaths, may cause unconsciousness and death.
No, I never saw anything. All I did was smell the fumes from the, like a sugar smell.
The sweet smell of cherry flavoring. Not quite so sweet smelling, the reported secret shipment of cyanide to Iraq.
I don't think it's too good. I think they should have kept a closer eye on this place.
You're not the only one. In the wake of the war against Iraq and the chemical weapons scare, there's new interest in the story of the Boca plant, a plant financed by a now deceased Iraqi named Ihsan Barghouti. The man who was Barghouti's partner in the plant says he got suspicious and tried to tip off the feds. Now, you think you're the victim in all this.
Well, in 1988, December of 1988, I contacted the State Department, and they told me they'd get back to me if there was any problems in working with the people I was working with.
Louis Champon says State never called back to say there was anything wrong with the Iraqi financier. The cherry flavoring plant, meanwhile, sits empty, a landmark of international intrigue in a most unlikely town.
It is. For Boca Raton to be doing something like this is quite unusual.
Mark Lundner, Channel 7 News, Boca Raton.
Tonight, the State Department and Customs Service are not talking about this story, and the Justice Department is calling it, their words, a fishing expedition.
Well, if you're one of the lucky ones, tomorrow starts a long holiday weekend. For many, that means fun, drinking, and danger on the roads. We've all seen the public service announcements about the consequences of drinking and driving. Many believe they can get around the problem by keeping below the legal limit. But experts say even one drink can impair your judgment.
The use of alcohol does not make a person function better. It makes them believe that they are functioning better, and in so doing covers up a tremendous amount of error.
FHP tells us 68% of the traffic accidents last July 4th were alcohol-related. It was a little early, but the booze was flowing during a local radio show today. Disc jockey Paul Castanova started downing drinks during WSHE's morning show. Broward Sheriff's deputies were there to give him breathalyzer tests while he did it. The point is to show just how fast you can reach the legal limit. DJs do this every holiday, hoping listeners will hear their message and not drive drunk. And tonight, a follow-up story on one we first told you about last week. A Fort Lauderdale woman charged with neglecting her children, her more than 60 cats, says she's going to get them back. Dolores Wilsey met with animal cruelty detectives today at the shelter where they took her 64 Persian cats. Last week, detectives confiscated the animals because they say Wilsey's house was a filthy mess. Now they've asked Wilsey to sign the cats over to the county, but she says no way.
Not at all. They're fat, healthy, playful. They're never neglected. I give them more than I give myself.
A judge will decide whether she can keep her cats. Wilsey's fight is to keep them, and it will be expensive. She's going to have to pay the animal shelter for boarding costs until her court hearing.
Coming up, a live report on a birthday bash at Mount Rushmore.
President Bush pulls off a surprise ceremony honoring war heroes.
And later, a warning about crib pillows that can kill you. Stay with us.
Now come laugh with the gang that won't play it straight when Hollywood meets Mr. Mob.
I've become a real scumbag.
This is the hippest gangster movie ever made.
Impressive.
Look at this. It's Joe Piscopo, Danny DeVito, Marilu Henner, and Mr. Michael Keaton.
My name's Dangerously. Johnny Dangerous.
Did you know your last name's an adverb?
It's Johnny Dangerously, the movie that'll make you wonder why.
Crime doesn't pay.
Tonight on the WSVN 7 Movie at 8.
Your South Florida Ford dealer's Confidence Challenge is on during the Leadership Celebration. Test drive a 91 Ford car or truck. If you're not convinced we're a better value and buy the competition, we'll pay you $100. That's confidence. And we're offering low financing or up to $1,600 cash back on selected models. So test drive one of America's best-built cars or trucks. Take the Confidence Challenge. If we're wrong, it's money in your pocket at your South Florida Ford dealer's Leadership Celebration.
On the next Golden Girls.
I don't want a TV crew coming in here messing up my kitchen.
Well, how about shooting it in your bedroom, Blanche? The equipment's already set up.
And it's lights, camera, action.
I found some real Cecile.
Boy, do you stink.
As the ladies make their acting debut.
That's a mighty lousy pizza.
And the director's losing patience.
If I wanted this kind of abuse, I'd be directing the Roseanne Barr show.
They're going Hollywood on the next Golden Girls.
Tonight at 7 on WSVN 7. There's no snow, and Christmas isn't until December, but you can be a summer Santa. Needy families can use your help all year long. Make a donation of canned foods or toys at any Sun Bank. WSVN 7 and these sponsors want you to spread Christmas cheer this summer.
This year, something happened throughout America. People came together for a common cause. We suffered through a war and rejoiced at victory. To the soldiers of Desert Storm, and to you, America, happy 4th of July from Channel 7.
Tomorrow is Independence Day, and that means lots of fireworks. Lots and lots of fireworks. The Zambelli family is getting ready to dazzle us with July 4th pyrotechnics. The Zambellis are fireworks experts. They spent all day today loading fireworks onto a barge that's going to be towed into the ocean off of Fort Lauderdale, then set off. This year's theme, Operation Desert Storm National Victory Celebration.
Well, America's war heroes honored with our nation's highest civilian honor, but not everyone who got a medal expected it. See, today, President Bush honored General Colin Powell and Norman Schwarzkopf with the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That was no surprise, but nearly everyone was caught off guard when Secretary of State Baker, Defense Secretary Cheney, and National Security Advisor Brent Scowcroft also got medals. All the men were honored for a job well done during the Operation Desert Storm. All the soldiers of Operation Desert Storm are being honored on the beach in Fort Lauderdale. You see, professional sand sculptors are putting the finishing touches on a 200-ton sand sculpture. It will depict a soldier being welcomed home by his family. Picture we saw so many times on television. Artists say they hope to finish by tomorrow in time for Independence Day.
Well, President Bush took care of some old, unfinished business today. Believe it or not, Mount Rushmore has never been formally dedicated. It was finished 50 years ago tomorrow, but World War II prevented its dedication. Reporter Dave Andrews joins us now live from Mount Rushmore. Dave.
Sally, nobody can say for certain if President Bush will ever be immortalized in stone like the four presidents behind me here at Mount Rushmore. One thing is for certain, though, the president couldn't have asked for a better backdrop than the faces of Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Teddy Roosevelt to help usher in the 4th of July holiday. Could call it the ultimate patriotic photo opportunity. The president coming to Mount Rushmore to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the memorial and to help kick off a $40 million fundraising drive aimed at preserving the massive stone sculpture for decades to come. Mr. Bush, fresh off the victory in the Persian Gulf, is still enjoying high public approval numbers. And in his speech, he capitalized on the patriotic mood that has swept the country since Operation Desert Storm.
The heroes behind me were fighters, as Americans have always been. Fighters for independence, for freedom, for democracy, for equality, for the values and the lands we revere. Today, we must build on their beginnings.
Mr. Bush was also here to formally dedicate Mount Rushmore. The sculpture, which took 14 years to build, was completed in 1941, but it was never dedicated because of the outbreak of World War II. The incredible engineering feat was the dream of sculptor Gutzon Borglum.
Hanging from the top in bosun's chairs, Gutzon Borglum, the sculptor, and his son go over the 60-foot Washington face, taking measurements to see that it is properly proportioned. The mountain is about 40 million years old, and the surface is worn away less than an inch each year, so that this great monument will last through the ages.
On the eve of this 4th of July, the 50th anniversary of this monument, let us express our undiminished devotion to the ideals of Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt, ideals as towering and solid as the monument that honors him. Thank you.
The President and Mrs. Bush left the memorial about an hour ago. They are now at a lake a few miles away where they're doing some fishing, having a nature walk, and are going to enjoy a Western barbecue. This evening, they'll be flying to Springfield, Missouri, where they'll be taking part in a 4th of July parade there tomorrow. I'm Dave Andrews reporting live from Mount Rushmore in South Dakota.
All right, still ahead after rumors of a breakup. Wedding bells ring for Donald and Marla.
And you'd think there'd be enough sand to go around in a state like Florida. Maybe not.
I'm meteorologist Tom Burris. After you take a look at these hot South Florida temperatures, we'll come back to talk about our first tropical storm of the year and also how a volcano is affecting South Florida.
Heard about Chevron's great gasoline and grocery giveaway? With over 3 million instant winners?
That's a lot of winners.
You could win the grand prize. Free groceries for life.
That's a lot of groceries.
And free Chevron gasoline for life.
That's a lot of gasoline.
Or one of over 3 million free gas and grocery prizes worth up to $10.
That's a lot of fun.
So stop by Chevron, start playing, and start winning.
Homer's never been serious about physical fitness.
I'm a big fat pig!
But this Thursday,
We've got rice cakes for you.
Hey, I've been setting my drinks on these things.
he's getting into shape.
Look, I'm using the original notches that came with my belt.
Get ready for the new Homer Simpson.
Hey, what gives? These donuts are piling up.
Yeah, Homer Simpson went on a diet.
Oh my God, and I just bought a boat.
The Simpsons, Thursday on Fox.
Thursday,
Get your finger out of your nose.
Brandon and his friends coach the worst team in the league.
They stink.
90210, Thursday.
This whole drug thing confuses me.
If you do drugs, you end up in jail, or you're probably gonna be dead.
It'll mess me up. It'll mess me up.
I have a lot of goals, and I'm planning to reach them.
I won't do drugs because I have dreams of having a good life. People who do drugs are boneheads.
You can't take drugs while you work and do a good job.
They're destroying our future.
I never do drugs because I love life, and I thank God for the life that He gave me and for being here for all my friends.
Sunday, Al Bundy's in a major league slump.
I know I made a few errors. For instance, 1, 2, and 3.
And some rookie wants to take his place.
Who's the guy with the backpack shaped like my wife?
Are Al's glory days gone forever?
Still in my prime. Spasm, help me!
Married with Children, Sunday.
Channel 7 News weather, brought to you in part by McDonald's, burritos and chicken fajitas for just 99 cents.
Live from the Channel 7 Weather Center, Bob Soper.
Tom Burson for Bob Soper tonight. We have had some scattered showers in the area throughout the early evening, afternoon hours. Some of those have been fairly heavy. Let's take a look at the big picture from up above. It looks fairly quiet from here. You can pick out some features. We'll talk about Tropical Storm Ana in just a moment. Had some big storms along the Gulf Coast. Let's also talk about a volcano, Mount Pinatubo over in Philippines. It's been kicking a lot of gas and dust and things like that into the upper atmosphere, and it's been pushed across all the way around to this side of the world, and it's been affecting, well, it hasn't affected it, but the sunrise and sunset obviously have changed colors to kind of a burnt orange because of that debris in the atmosphere, and it's just kind of nice to go out there and take a look at. It looks a little different to kind of enhance our beautiful South Florida sunrise and sunset anyway. So in case you've been looking at those, that's what the change in color has been all about. And anytime you get something anywhere in the world that's different about the environment, it has an effect somewhere else in the world. So that is, of course, affecting us on this side of the world. Something else that's not affecting us at the moment, but we still were related to it somehow, is Tropical Storm Ana, which is up here off the coast of Cape Hatteras in North Carolina. This low was sitting down off Florida a couple days ago. Continue moving to the northeast. It's at 35.8 north, 71.8 west. Moving east-northeast, and the winds are at about 40 miles an hour. It may strengthen just a little bit. Only marine interests up in here have any cause for concern. That, of course, is the first tropical storm of the season. The next one, should it occur, and nothing's going on now, would be Bob. And a reminder, if you're a Cellular One customer, you can hear the Hurricane Hotline on star 77 or 933 WSVN anytime you want that kind of information. And this is a lot of other information on that line, too. Loads of storms, big storms over the eastern part of the nation, from the Great Lakes into Arkansas and Missouri. Very strong storms, and they've been down here this afternoon, and they're starting to die off now. Not really much left in the area. A lot of the showers have died off. And across the western half of the nation, fairly dry right now. Behind this cool front up in the Pacific Northwest, gale warnings along the coast of Washington up there, but most of the activity is wedged right in here behind this front. New York City right now, 73 degrees. Tomorrow, most of the rain up and down the eastern seaboard, dry in the plains and off on the western side of the country, and it's going to be rather warm out there. Again, in Las Vegas, temperatures above 100. It's 109 out in Las Vegas right now. If you're traveling tomorrow anywhere around the state, chance of rain will be mainly during the afternoon. We're looking at about a 40% chance to 50% chance everywhere. If you're going to Orlando, look for about 92, 95 Jacksonville, 91 at Naples and Fort Myers, and about 87 in Key West. Tonight, though, for here, look for partly cloudy, slight chance of a shower, mid to upper 70s. Tomorrow, we're going to look for partly cloudy, 40% chance of a shower or storm. Coastal early in the day, then moving inland in the afternoon. Temperatures near 90. Boaters tonight, south winds at 10, seas about 2 feet and a light chop. High tide at Government Cut at 1:25 in the morning. Sunset 8:16, sunrise at 6:34. And hopefully that sunrise and sunset will look really nice tonight and tomorrow morning with that stuff, if you will, in the atmosphere.
Thanks, Tom.
Scientific term, stuff.
That wraps up Channel 7 News at 6.
Coming up next, though, is it Guns N' Roses or Guns and Riots? Police in St. Louis want to know after a rock concert ends up turning violent.
In Britain, God may have to save the Queen from the tax man.
And when Arnold says he'll be back, he means it.
These stories and much more right ahead on Channel 7 News at 6:30.
Hey, andale, to Biggie today. It's up fajitas to go. The price is so low.
McDonald's introduces chicken fajitas, only 99 cents each.
With pepper, cheese, and pollo. That's chicken. Fresh tomatoes and cebolla. Did you say onions?
An unexpected taste at an unexpected price.
McDonald's today.
Chicken fajitas, only 99 cents each at McDonald's today.
Your car not making you as happy as it once did? Sounds like it's time for a new Nissan. Right now, you can make your best deal on Sentra, priced hundreds less than Honda Civic. Stands out with a more powerful standard engine than Camry or Accord, and the 153 horsepower Nissan truck. The Screaming Summer Spectacular ends July 6th, so see your Florida Nissan dealer today. He'll give you something to smile about.
Stay up for City Slickers Helen Slater, plus Robert Guillaume and BB and CeCe Winans on the next Arsenio Hall Show. Tonight at 11 on WSVN 7.
You're watching South Florida's news station, WSVN 7. This is Channel 7 News at 6:30.
A rock show turns into a riot after the lead singer reportedly attacks the audience. Good evening, I'm Jane Agrian for Joan. Rock singer Axl Rose could be facing criminal charges.
That's what cops in Missouri are saying after a Guns N' Roses concert ended in violence and chaos. Dozens of people were hurt, and lots of people, including fans who were there, are blaming lead singer Axl Rose. Police say it all started when the lead singer jumped into the audience and fought with a fan. The fan wanted to take his picture. Witnesses say Rose cursed at security guards and left the stage. That's when the mayhem broke out. The crowd of 20,000 fans became a virtual zoo of people throwing chairs, rocks, and bottles.
I tell you, this is as bad and as violent as any as I've ever seen, and I've been involved in several of them, and this was as bad as any of them.
Right? Everything. Hey, that's what a rock.
A home video is now letting us see what the auditorium looked like once the chaos was just about over. You can see people still tearing the stage to pieces. Most fans say they're mad Axl Rose and his band gypped them out of their hard-earned money. Some say they'll sue. And police say Axl Rose may be slapped with criminal charges. Guns N' Roses hails from Los Angeles. The heavy metal rock band is in the middle of a national tour.
Checking our other top stories, dozens of thieves and drug dealers were locked up today. They were caught in a huge federal sting. More than 200 feds moved into several South Dade neighborhoods today, all part of Operation Rock Bottom. They wanted to bag as many drug dealers and criminals as possible. So they launched an early morning sweep in Homestead, Cutler Ridge, and Florida City. Cops had set up an undercover fencing operation to nab some of the suspects. The feds say there is a good chance that they'll be coming back as well. Tonight, a Fort Lauderdale mailman is accused of trying to steal a 90-year-old woman's life savings. Police say that 36-year-old George Laws delivered the woman's mail for 11 years. He allegedly convinced her to sign over her power of attorney and then stole $4,000 from her bank account. The cops say he was hoping to collect the rest of the money after she died. The woman had changed her will, so Laws was her sole heir. It's turning into a real catfight in Broward. Last week, we told you about a Fort Lauderdale woman who was charged with neglecting her cats. The cats were taken to a shelter, and today Dolores Wilsey was asked to sign them over to the county. She signed over 2 of them, but she wants the rest of the cats back. A judge is going to have to make the final decision.
Miami city officials say they may have finally come up with a plan to help Miami's homeless. The city's decided to house hundreds of homeless people in Bobby Maduro Stadium. Now the move has to be approved by the city commission and a judge. Now, if it passes, the stadium would be used for a month while social agencies search for more permanent homes and jobs for the homeless. But apparently not all the homeless like the idea.
Why would some people living out here not be excited about this plan, not be happy to see this plan come to pass?
Okay, well, you know, a lot of people don't understand that it's more to it than you just get out the street and they give you a place to stay. They want you to clean your life up.
You see, there's a hitch. The city wants to require drug tests before anyone moves in.
Fighting continues to shake up battle-scarred Yugoslavia. Hundreds of government tanks are now occupying the rebel republics of Croatia and Slovenia and killing people in their path. The 2 republics declared their independence last week. Now, U.S. Secretary of State James Baker is urging an arms embargo against Yugoslavia. He and members of the European community are calling for an immediate ceasefire. Earlier today, Baker warned of a full-fledged civil war, saying that millions of lives would be lost in bloodshed. At least 25 people are dead after 3 days of fighting in Lebanon. Palestinian guerrillas launched a counterattack against Lebanese troops near Sidon. Observers say that the Lebanese army is trying to regain control of 2 PLO refugee camps there. Yesterday, some 6,000 Arafat guerrillas were ousted from the area. The Lebanese government claims some 300 Palestinians have been captured in the fighting.
In Iraq, 12 ballistic missiles blown to bits today, but Iraqi soldiers did it under UN supervision. It is all part of the Gulf War ceasefire agreement. Iraq says the remaining 61 missiles will be demolished by week's end. Several nuclear rocket launchers, 9 liquid fuel transporters, and 8 missile carriers should be destroyed by Sunday. A popular 60s rock star may be gone, but he is certainly not forgotten. Today, the 20th anniversary of the death of singer Jim Morrison. He was, in case you don't know, the lead singer of the rock group The Doors. Fans gathered at his grave in Paris to remember him. Morrison supposedly died from a drug-induced heart attack. Transportation Secretary Samuel Skinner's travel habits are causing some turbulence in the White House tonight. It is all over his use of government planes to keep his pilot's license up to date. Skinner flew more than 200 hours in small Air Force jets over the last 3 years. Those trips paid for by Uncle Sam. Skinner says he didn't break any FAA rules. In fact, he says it keeps him more on top of what's going on with air traffic controllers.
The richest woman in the world could soon have to start paying income tax. Great Britain's parliament is debating a bill that would force Queen Elizabeth II to pay taxes on her private fortune. It's estimated to be worth between $2 and $10 billion. The Queen's fortune includes land, 20 diamond and jewel-encrusted tiaras, and a priceless art collection. British experts say there is little chance the Queen will be taxed anytime soon. And tonight, the United Nations is investigating Cuba for alleged human rights abuses. Channel 7's Rick Sanchez has tonight's headlines from Cuba.
All right, Jane. Cuba is being investigated for a series of reported abuses. And tonight, Javier Perez de Cuellar has chosen a Colombian diplomat to head this investigation. The investigators have been told to keep in direct contact with the government of Cuba and perhaps more importantly with the people of Cuba. But so far, Havana is saying they will not cooperate with the United Nations in any way because it's controlled by the U.S., their words. Also tonight, a follow-up on a story we told you about last night. Remember that alleged Cuban spy who supposedly infiltrated TV Marti? He's blasting anti-Castro activist Jorge Mascanosa. He told a Cuban TV audience last night that TV Marti is being used only to promote Mascanosa as the next president of Cuba. The alleged agent also says he is the reason Cuba was able to jam TV Marti all the time. He says he would call from Washington, D.C. to Havana and literally tell them at what time the station would be going on the air. TV Marti officials say that was impossible. Those are the headlines.
Thanks, Rick. An Indiana woman in critical condition tonight after a bizarre and horrible accident. Her arm ripped off in a washing machine. Authorities in Boonville, Indiana, say the woman was at a laundromat doing her laundry when one of her kids opened the machine. When she tried to push the clothes back inside, her arm got tangled in the load and was twisted off at the elbow. Hospital officials say it took 9 hours to reattach her lower arm. Tonight, a tiny beanbag pillow being blamed for killing babies. Experts cite almost 40 cases where the cushions have caused babies to suffocate. Some babies thought to have been victims of sudden infant death syndrome actually died because of these cushions. The babies suffocated after lying face down on these pillows.
Americans just can't seem to stop celebrating our victory in the Gulf. It has been months now since the war ended, but the war is far from forgotten. For tomorrow's holiday, organizers of fireworks shows across the nation say their theme will be Victory in the Gulf. They say they'll be firing up Scuds and Patriot missiles, not the dangerous kind, just some pretty good imitations. A Fort Lauderdale man does not have much to celebrate this 4th of July weekend. He has been busted for driving around with $50,000 worth of illegal fireworks. Police say 21-year-old Eric Paulson was pulled over for picking up a prostitute. When they asked him to show proof of ownership, he opened the back door of his truck, revealing 1,000 pounds of illegal fireworks. Paulson faces several thousand misdemeanor counts, one for each illegal firecracker that was found.
Coming up next, they thought they were building castles in the sand. Instead, they've got houses on the rocks. Vandals cut down and kill a 25-year-old landmark. Also, we are going to be showing you where to find the best fireworks displays in South Florida tomorrow night. Here's a look.
On April 17, 1991, after conducting an independent evaluation of national weight loss companies, the respected San Francisco Chronicle said this about Jenny Craig. Of the leading national programs, the food rated highest in taste, texture, and appearance. The cost was reasonable. Overall, the program included all the components that contribute to successful weight loss. Thank you, San Francisco Chronicle. Here's more good news. Lose all you want for just a $39.50 service fee. Call 1-800-76-JENNY.
Now come laugh with the gang that won't play it straight when Hollywood meets Mr. Mob.
I've become a real scumbag.
This is the hippest gangster movie ever made.
Impressive.
Look at this. It's Joe Piscopo, Danny DeVito, Marilu Henner, and Mr. Michael Keaton.
My name's Dangerously. Johnny Dangerous.
Did you know your last name's an adverb?
It's Johnny Dangerously, the movie that'll make you wonder why.
Crime doesn't pay.
Tonight on the WSVN 7 Movie at 8.
On the next Golden Girls.
I don't want a TV crew coming in here messing up my kitchen.
Well, how about shooting it in your bedroom, Blanche? The equipment's already set up.
And it's lights, camera, action.
I found some real Cecile.
Boy, do you stink.
As the ladies make their acting debut.
That's a mighty lousy pizza.
And the director's losing patience. If I wanted this kind of abuse, I'd be directing the Roseanne Barr show. They're going Hollywood on the next Golden Girls.
Tonight at 7 on WSVN 7.
On the next Joan Rivers, some wild, wacky, and wonderful people. Perennial newsmaker Zsa Zsa Gabor.
This is the best I was arrested in.
Darling disco diva Grace Jones.
You hit a talk show host?
Yes, I did.
Plus outrageous rock renegade Little Richard.
The Joan Rivers Show, tomorrow at 10 on WSVN 7.
In southwest Florida, 2 resort islands are fighting over sand. Folks in Sanibel and Captiva Islands say the sand is vital for storm protection, not to mention tourism. As CNN's John Zarella reports, these two islands are now in a raging battle to keep the sand from eroding away.
The gentle sound of the rolling surf. Tourists combing the beach for precious shells. Then there's Chuck Listowski combing the beach for sand.
You can place sand here, but apparently it's not going to stay here.
Listowski, who works for Lee County in southwest Florida, is mediating a war over sand. 2 years ago, Captiva Island finished a $10 million beach renourishment program, including a jetty. The people on neighboring Sanibel to the south now blame that jetty for the worsening erosion of their beach. On exclusive Sanibel Island, you don't expect to find an eyesore, but that's exactly what you have here. The Santiva cottages. The door is already fallen in, and the porch is literally being held up on the corner of 2 cement blocks. This is all that's left of the cottages, just down the beach from the jetty on the Sanibel side.
I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble.
Laura Burnsett stands on the foundation of what used to be one cottage. The other was condemned this past spring, and she's paying for a mortgage on land that no longer exists.
You can insure the building, but it's a 20-year-old building. It's not worth that much, but you can't insure the land. And the land is where the value is, and the land is what my mortgage was on, and the land's gone.
Nearly every bit of it. The stilt home down the beach is going too, surrounded now by water. A state report determined the jetty was partially responsible for stopping sand from flowing onto Sanibel's beaches. Captiva officials say it's really Sanibel's fault.
Sanibel's had a historical erosion problem for a very long time.
The question now is, who is going to pay to put the sand back on Sanibel?
We haven't worked out the differences to everyone's satisfaction yet, but we're working on it.
Meanwhile, the Gulf of Mexico laps at the old wooden lounge chair, sitting on what used to be the front porch of the Santiva cottages. John Zarella, CNN, Sanibel Island, Florida.
A 250-year-old natural landmark is destroyed tonight. Police in Minnesota say over the weekend, vandals chopped down this old oak tree. Several kids were reportedly drinking near the tree last Friday. They were chased off. When the sun came up Sunday morning, the tree was on the ground with obscenities spray-painted all over it.
It has been called the soul of America, and today, Mount Rushmore was finally dedicated by President Bush. The famous monument turns 50 tomorrow. It was never dedicated before because of World War II. President Bush is only the 4th president to visit Mount Rushmore. He praised the sculptors and the men in profile. Thousands of people have gathered at Mount Rushmore for the birthday bash. It is all part of a drive to raise $40 million. That money going to be used to give Washington, Jefferson, Lincoln, and Roosevelt a facelift.
Coming up next, Tom Burse with our 4th of July forecast.
Arnold is back, and the fans are apparently glad to see him in the new movie.
And the Donald announces he is tying the knot again. Guess who gets the ring?
Blockbuster Video has a deal you can really sink your teeth into. It's free with 3. Rent any 3 videos and get a certificate for a free Subway sandwich. Start off with...
Set your sights on adventure. On romance.
How's about you and me taking off all our clothes and going swimming?
On a hero, Tom Selleck. Quigley, Down Under. Rated PG-13 from MGM UA Home Video.
Get your free Subway sandwich when you rent any 3 videos. Now at Blockbuster Video.
There are so many sides to Regis and Kathy Lee, there's just no telling which one you might see next. There's that one, and that one. Oh, and that one, too.
And I don't think anybody is better at it.
She's right. You just have to keep watching to catch them all. And on the next Live, we'll kick off the July 4th fireworks with some real flag-waving fashions. And we'll blast off with Jennifer Connelly from The Rocketeer. Happy July 4th.
Live, Regis and Kathy Lee, tomorrow at 9 on WSVN 7.
Be watching when we reveal the identity of the man wanted for one of the most shocking murders in New Mexico's history on America's Most Wanted. Then, Eternal Youth.
You look pretty good. How old are you?
About 70.
One doctor is selling it to humans.
You think Trenner takes a little piece of newcomer, puts it in a human being, and bingo, you lose 10 years?
But the cost is alien lives.
You think he's a murderer?
Alien Nation, right after America's Most Wanted, Friday on Fox.
In Salisbury, Maryland, the hungry are being fed. In Wind Falls, Indiana, a man who learned to read at 47 is making sure others learn earlier. Every day, someone in America is doing something to light up another life. But there is so much more to do. The light to do it is within us all. We only need to share it. Call the Volunteer Center. Do something good. Feel something real.
Live from the Channel 7 Weather Center, Bob Soper.
Bob Soper's taking the night off. I'm Tom Burse. Let's see what's going on. The rain, for the most part, has ended. A lot of it anyway. There's still a couple of showers out there overnight tonight. Look for temperatures around 77 degrees. It's going to stay in the 70s over the entire state. There is a slight chance of a shower overnight, about a 30% chance in the Keys. Most elsewhere in the state, it'll end during the evening hours. Tomorrow, about 90 degrees. Some widely scattered showers and storms. Coastal areas early in the day, then shifting inland, as is typical South Florida weather pattern. For boaters tomorrow, south-southeast winds around 10 knots, seas about 2 feet, and a light chop. Quickly, Tropical Storm Ana is out there off the coast of North Carolina, pushing out into the Atlantic. Absolutely no problem whatsoever for us in Florida, but we'll continue to keep you abreast as to what's going on with that. There's the coordinates. And, of course, tonight at 10 o'clock, we'll have more on that. But tonight, just a couple widely scattered showers and a little warm overnight. That's about it.
Okay, thanks, Tom. Less than 1 week after he supposedly dumped her, Donald Trump says he and Marla are engaged. He made it official today by calling the Regis and Kathy Lee show, broadcast this morning right here on Channel 7.
An engaged man this morning?
I am indeed, and Marla's a very special girl, and Kathy knows that very well.
Well, that's terrific. What a sensational, startling turn of events. Excuse me while I break the silence.
There's a guy who knows how to promote himself. Trump says he called the show to clear up all the rumors circulating about the couple lately. Just a few days ago, you see, Donald reportedly left Marla for a 19-year-old model. But the latest rumor is Marla told him to shape up or ship out. Guess it worked, since she now has an 8-carat diamond ring. But still no firm wedding date, so Jane will just have to see what happens. Watch it all.
Still ahead in sports, a former UM basketball player on the road again.
And Jennifer Capriati rolls over Martina at Wimbledon. Jim Barry next.
If you're looking for a great vacation, I've got just the place. In the morning, in the evening, ain't we got fun? Not much money, oh, but honey, ain't we got fun? There's never a bill. We'll stay up late, dear. Let's not miss a thrill.
Book your fun ship cruise at Birdines Travel Bureau, located at any Birdines department store. Ask how you can charge it on your Birdines charge card.
Another Home Depot certified advantage. The satisfaction guarantee.
Come on, no matter what.
If you're not 100% satisfied, you get your money back. No questions asked.
Well, that's great, but are we talking the best brands?
Roundup Weed Killer, the fast and easy way to take care of weeds, roots, and all. And Enforcer Flea products. For 7-month flea control, use Enforcer with Precor. At Home Depot, low prices are just the beginning.
Homer's never been serious about physical fitness.
I'm a big fat pig!
But this Thursday,
We've got rice cakes for you.
Hey, I've been setting my drinks on these things.
he's getting into shape.
Look, I'm using the original notches that came with my belt.
Get ready for the new Homer Simpson.
Hey, what gives? These donuts are piling up.
Yeah, Homer Simpson went on a diet.
Oh, my God. And I just bought a boat.
The Simpsons, Thursday on Fox.
Wake up all the teachers, time to teach a new way.
The power to wake up young minds. Teachers have that power. Reach for it. I'm Edward James Olmos, and we're recruiting new teachers. For information, call 1-800-45-TEACH.
July 4th, it's not just another holiday. It's a celebration of America, of what we stand for, of what we believe in. And this year it means even more. To the soldiers of Desert Storm and to you, America, happy 4th of July. Channel 7.
Channel 7 Sports, brought to you in part by Snapper. Anything less just won't cut it.
Now, Channel 7 Sports with Jim Barry.
Incredibly, Navratilova fouls out on a double fault.
Well, off the court, Martina's problems are with Judy. On the court today, it was Jenny who gave her trouble, though. 15-year-old Jennifer Capriati made Martina look ordinary. This winner coming up is just too easy. Jenny was so hot, Martina had to sit down and take 5. How bad was it for Martina? Well, you saw match point, but here it is again. A nervous double fault. Jenny whips one of the big 4 for the very first time. Jenny's opponent in the semifinals will be Gabriela Sabatini. She easily handled Laura Gildemeister. I think Gabby's game is still a little too tricky for Jenny. Well, the shaggy hair in the near court belongs to Andre Agassi, and Jaakko Elting has him on the run, but he hit that one out, and Jaakko knows that he cannot blow chances like that. Shaggy Agassi wins in 4 sets, and he is on to the quarterfinals. What a forehand he has. Boris Becker is quietly moving through. Guy Forget handled American Tim Mayotte. And another Frenchman, Thierry Champion, knocked off American Derek Restagno. Well, Joe Wiley just got drafted into the NBA last week, but he's already got a change of address. Instead of the West Coast, Wiley is staying in the East. Wiley, the former Hurricane who leaped his way into the eyes of the pro scouts, has been traded from the LA Clippers to the New York Knicks. The Clippers get a draft choice for the deal, and Wiley gets a better shot at an NBA living because the Knicks need forwards more than LA. Well, the Cubs can't wait for the All-Star break to get here. They aren't just limping there, folks. They are crawling. Gary Reedus of Pittsburgh says, I like Chicago. That's because Pirate sluggers like Andy Van Slyke know they can tee off on weak Cub pitching. That one's headed for a new zip code. Van Slyke homers for the 3rd straight day in Chi-Town as the Pirates romp again. Wayne Huizenga will officially have his own big league team in a couple of days. All he has to decide now is what to call it. And as Jay Heiler reports, deciding where our new team is really from is a hot political subject.
Get ready to pop the champagne. America's favorite pastime is almost here.
We're on the verge of the big announcement. Come Friday, it's expected Major League Baseball will award the 2 new expansion teams to Denver and Miami. Miami, ocean breezes, sunshine, everything. Except there's one problem. Odds are the team will be named the Florida Marlins, not the Miami Marlins.
The decision is solely in the hands of Wayne Huizenga. The early front-runner was the South Florida Marlins, but that lost steam because outside the state, no one has heard of South Florida. So why not the Miami Marlins? It has a nice ring to the mayor of Miami.
You want to create a stage for baseball to be not only the national pastime, but the international pastime in the Americas, in Europe, in the Far East. The name Miami is the one you would use because that's the one they know.
There have been stories Major League owners have pressured Wayne Huizenga into shying away from Miami. Yes, it's Miami's team, but the images of Sonny Crockett and a Super Bowl riot might not go hand in hand with apple pie and baseball.
Some people are pretty perturbed about, this issue of the naming of the team and not being Miami.
As for the baseball fans of Miami, their choice is simple. Florida Marlins or Miami Marlins?
Miami Marlins.
Why is that?
Because if it was in Tampa, it would be named Tampa.
Miami Marlins.
Why?
It's Miami's team, I think they should keep it Miami.
Miami Marlins.
No doubt about it?
No question.
As long as we call it winter, I won't be disappointed.
No truer words have ever been spoken. In Miami, Florida. Jay Heiler, Channel 7 Sports.
Well, I'll be very clear where I stand. We got the Miami Dolphins, the Miami Heat. I see nothing wrong with the Miami Marlins or whatever we decide to call the team. And if Miami does have an image problem, what better way to improve it than with a baseball team named after Miami?
I agree. We need the image boost, and I think we should have it.
Yeah, but it ain't gonna happen though.
Okay. Well, thanks, Jim.
Yep.
Jane.
Tonight, the Terminator is back, and he's tougher than ever. Yes, Arnold Schwarzenegger's new movie, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, hit the movie theaters nationwide today. It is being called the most expensive movie of the summer with an $88 million price tag. Promoters say it's crammed with action-packed special effects that are guaranteed to thrill. Last night, some Hollywood stars got a sneak peek. Most seem to agree. Some other Hollywood tough guys had a real blast.
A big injection of energy, and this is probably the one that probably has the most thrills per second, I mean, the most excitement per pound, if you might say.
Even the movie's big star turned out for the sneak preview. He says he's got the brains to back up the brawn with even more savvy. He's more savvy now than ever before. That's what
we shall see. Coming up next, the race to finish a work of art in time for a holiday.
In my considered opinion, it's okay to enjoy mowing one's lawn. Oh, for heaven's sake. In fact, my snapper significantly enhances my sense of well-being. Of course, my snapper dealer was kind enough to offer a 14-day money-back test drive. The good man really stands behind his machines. So if you're looking for emotional satisfaction, my advice to you is seek professional help. That's right. See your snapper dealer. Anything less just won't cut it.
Your car not making you as happy as it once did? Sounds like it's time for a new Nissan. Right now, you can make your best deal on Stanza with a more powerful standard engine than Camry or Accord. Maxima, the #1 selling import in its class. Or the 4-door V6 Pathfinder. The screaming summer spectacular ends July 6th, so see your Florida Nissan dealer today. He'll give you something to smile about.
Well, they've been at it since Saturday, but tonight, sand sculptors in Fort Lauderdale are almost done with their new creation. Professional sand sculptors are putting the finishing touches on a 200-ton sand sculpture. It is a tribute to Operation Desert Storm troops. The sculpture shows a soldier being hugged by his family. The artists want you to remember what the 4th of July is all about, even if you're at the beach.
Trick will be to keep it there, I guess.
Yeah.
That wraps up Channel 7 News at 6:30. I'm Jane Akron.
And I'm Penny Daniels. We'll have more news in just 30 minutes on 7:30. Join us then.
The threat of a storm can cause a frightening situation. That's why Love 94 and Channel 7 News have formed a partnership to guarantee you will know exactly what to do. In the event of a hurricane watch, warning, or worse, Love 94 and WSVN will make sure you'll never be without the information you need. If a storm strikes South Florida, Love 94 will simulcast Channel 7's updates, live reports, and news broadcasts. So if you can't see us on Channel 7, you can hear us on Love 94. Together, we'll help you survive the storm.